We went on a family camping trip recently, and it's been a while since our previous time, so I almost forgot how fun it is. The nature, feeling connected to everything around. But is it actually true? When everyone was asleep, I was chewing on a cold burger, leftovers, and reading a book. Well, the book was about something completely different. The author entertained the idea that appreciating the nature is actually a learned skill, like appreciating the art. It's a civilized accomplishment. Right at that moment, I realized that it could be true indeed. Do I really appreciate the nature because all living creatures do by default? Or is it because I learned that I'm supposed to appreciate it? Anyway, this got me thinking about this. We are all exposed to music from early childhood. It's on TV, it's on radio, in any video content. But everyone listens to music differently. Everyone might even have their own idea of what music is, but I won't go there. I remember the joy of listening to my favorite records when I was a kid. I would listen to the same recordings over and over again, discovering new parts, new small pieces, even trying to figure out if some weird sounds that I heard, was it a mistake or was it intentionally left in the recording? Like the strategically placed blip in Just Push Play, which obviously was an intentional thing, but it wasn't obvious for kids' brain. I realized that I was probably putting a bit more emphasis on listening to music compared to most people that I knew. I started chasing more details and trying to separate different parts, admiring the incredible performances that my favorite artists pull, like the outro of The Purple Stain, specifically Chad Smith's part. I think I accidentally pulled myself into a different listening mode. It's amateurish analytical listening. I specifically remember that switch happened around the time I was listening to Nevermind for the first time. Years later, I decided to work on my first music release from scratch, as there were multiple attempts going back to high school days. I quickly realized that what I thought was analytical listening skills was in fact when you go to the kids' toy store and you see kids' musical instruments and the kids think they are. Now, looking back at that period, I think that was quite ambitious. I was lucky that I didn't know that I didn't know anything. Otherwise, nothing would have happened, most likely. These days, I know that I don't know a lot of things, and it's enough to watch an interview or a process walkthrough of one of your favorite mixing engineers, people who do that for a living, or listen to any professionally mixed recording that had something like 10 or 20 people working on it. But I like to think about it as a continuous work in progress. You learn things as you go, and you never really reach the final destination. I try to learn new things every time when I sit down to work on music or listen to it. It's quite easy to hear the drum track in the mix. It's also quite easy to hear the bass part, but it's much harder to carve out the dance between drums and the bass and maybe occasional interruption from something like a synth. The groove, it takes forever to master. So I'm thinking, okay, that should be my goal, right? Advancing analytical listening skills so that you could apply it in your music production. It's all multiple layers of appreciating music as a learned skill, as a civilized accomplishment. It would usually be like this. Okay, it's nice. The EQ filter is opening. Hello, new part. Some reverb. The bass is nice and contrasty. It's much louder than the rest. Is that 4/4? Well, I hope you get the idea. The voice just wouldn't shut up. But here's what I like to do to quiet the voice down. Obviously, this was an illustration because I made it myself, so I knew all of that. It sounds obvious, but sometimes I forget that music is not sum of its individual tracks. It's not sum of all different instruments playing. And the only reason why the music should exist, I think, is for it to be able to trigger some sort of emotional response within the listener. And that's it. The structure alone doesn't equal the experience. While mastering the analytical listening skills would definitely be nice, I keep reminding myself that I need to learn how to listen to the music like a kid properly, without any analysis, without taking things apart, without taking things out of context. Instead of hunting for parts, I should listen to the music as one whole piece and focus more not on the track but on the emotional response that this track is triggering within me. Selfishly, all about myself. Ironically, these days this happens mostly when I'm not actively listening, when I'm doing something else while the music is playing in the background. I want to be able to switch to that mode quickly and intentionally, paying attention to the music while actively listening, basically not through distractions but with awareness. And I think everyone will benefit from learning how to switch between these modes quickly, as it's not only applicable to music. I can imagine anyone doing anything creative probably has to navigate through that. Whether you've never thought about it, or have never heard about active listening or analytical listening, or maybe you've been listening to music for a long time, there's always something new to explore and be nerdy about. This video is a reminder for myself and you, I guess, that technical proficiency is nice. New tools are fantastic. Some vintage old school tools might be even better, but we all need to work on being more present and aware and to approach the things that we do more intentionally.